Good afternoon, welcome back. My name is Drew Lutai. Welcome back to Thailand. It's Saturday on Tao. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We've got a nice sunny day today. For instance, I've been out running this morning. Felt really good. Went out to down to time. We'll come back at out to be perfectly honest. For instance, there's not six, well, fluffy clouds in the sky. I think the end of the rainy season now. So, for instance, if you come to Thailand, you're gonna have a nice time. Just to take care of yourself. And the roads are very dangerous. The Sukhumvit, just over there. Anyway, so if you don't know me, my name's Trubli Thai. For instance, I've lived in Thailand for 3 years. I'm a big Manchester City fan, as you probably can see around me. And yeah, so for instance, yeah, I like to talk everything city. I'm an old man, as you probably can see as well. In my 60s now, just turned 60 this year. And yeah, I've basically, for instance, lived in Thailand 3 years. I lived overseas most of a lot. I looked a lot of countries. And yeah, I find myself in Thailand, but still, I miss my club, and I'm looking forward to the game today. Yeah, a bit nervous. And what's it called? I love talking about the city, in tune with all the vloggers, for instance, Johnny, LB, for instance, Martin, etc. For instance, on the channels, do a very good job and support our club, etc., which is amazing. Yeah, but for instance, and unfortunately, for instance, when I'm on the channels, etc., I can't just do this and do a quick thinking that, for instance, that's going to make all the difference to me, because I like to express my opinion. I'm not one of these, for instance, and yeah, and I can walk down to a bar, for instance, and talk to a load of fans of other clubs, etc. For instance, they're not going to get it, and for instance, and they are, for instance, they're a bit, what do you call it? For instance, yeah, what's it called? And I can't really have a proper discussion with them, etc. So, anyway, that's the reason why I'm doing this. What's it called? You can agree with me, you disagree with me, like or subscribe, do whatever you want to do. It's entirely up to you. This is just a conversation with me, expressing my views from 10,000 kilometers away from the Etihad Stadium. Anyway, what I would like to talk about today is the media, especially the British media, and their reluctance or their, yeah, to talk nice about Manchester City, show some respect to the club. They do it with gritted teeth. I've never known anything like it in my life, for instance. And at a time, for instance, where for instance, in a golden era of our club, all we have to listen to is the constant, for instance, attacking of our club, the oil club, for instance, you've stolen the league, you have the thieves, what's it called, 115, ABT, blah, 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 whatever. We don't get a break. Even in an international break, it comes on. It's like, oh, what can we talk about today? Oh, we'll do that. And then you got Mark Goldbridge and places like that person who never go to a game, but used to be a Notts Forest fan, changed his name from what his position was before. And then, for instance, and then clickbaits. Uh, I don't, I don't know how that happened. Last week, for instance, when United lost for instance, West Ham game, it appears that somebody. How the hell you play City all long? I mean, it's just unbelievable. Some of it is laughable, but then some of it is because, quite honestly, for instance, when I go for a pint and sit in a bar, for instance, and I've got a City T-shirt on, the mere fact that, what's it called, because of it's like you say something a million times, and people are going to believe it. There's two instances for this, what's it called, which I found in my life, and one is the one when I didn't yeah, But the consequences is that, for instance, they do criticise it, of course, but overall, for instance, the Danes have a very good feeling about, their country, and a lot of it is about being proud of the country and flying the flag. And this little country, for instance, only 5.5 million people, is doing amazingly well. Uh, And when I'm listening to to the man, etc., I thought some of the suggestions, etc., were prime, like of Denmark, etc., because I lived there for 10 years, and some of the fabrications or whatever, Carlsberg, best ever, and I think there was a guy called Orson Welles. He was, promoted probably the best lager in the day. You know, I get out of the country and with this. It was like half a lager in Danish or Tuborg, Carlsberg or Tuborg, and that's all you want to drink, Carlsberg or Tuborg, and then a few microbreweries, etc. But this is Thai, Danish tradition. So when the other scope was the United Kingdom, and when I went to the United Kingdom, and when you're living overseas, etc., for instance, a lot of people, when you look at the United Kingdom, it doesn't have a decent place to live. Okay, but when you're in the United Kingdom, when you listen to the media, they're always bringing the goddamn place down. You know, the talk about, for instance, the stories all about the issue, where they couldn't find it. British media, they used to find it overseas. Let's go to Somalia. I'm sure there's an issue there. Let's go off to, in like, I'm sure and then, so it, because the police often around because it's the worst. Now, when it comes to Manchester City Football Club, okay, to me, the media has a duty to tell the truth and to say, for instance, Manchester City, for instance, are not that bad. They're good. They're a very good football team. And to say, and someone say, "Oh well, I heard blah blah." No, they don't do it often enough. They don't give the credit to the football club. It's through gritted teeth. It's through a caveat. It's like saying, "Oh, Man City are good, but what I mean, like, but and well, Man City are great. Let's go 1-4, but they've killed 1-5. So with like, oh, and this time Jordan, Man City will get away. I got a case to answer for the 1-1-5. It's that kind of like stab in the back. Let me just stick knees in the back. And that's what she did more than other media. This is what I've seen. And I listen to ESPN, for instance, and they're kind of a bit more balanced. They criticise, and there's British football players there, for instance, Craig Bailey, for instance, and Stevie Nicol, and I remembered his name. Anyway, so for instance, but they still have this kind of bit of a more of a balance of, for instance, and they're not the anti-Manchester City fan, anti-Manchester City, and they're kind of like level. So it's kind of like, yeah. But when you're listening to the likes of Talksport, when you listen to the likes of Sly Sports, and then, for instance, what's it called? The real bitterness, the real comes out of like of you really feel it, like of for instance of the jealousy. Their team, they're not. I'm not saying if you actually look at this, very good point of they're not well. They're not clubs. But when it comes to talking about City, For instance, like they won't give the credit to the football club. Rather have let's just taken a knife into City. There was a lot. I saw on ESPN there was a guy, a British guy, for instance, that made me. I think he'll leave at the end of the season because that Brent is out of contract. I do believe he'll sign. Yeah, I think it's written. He'll always sign in November, and we're now in do that in track. Yeah, in November. Anyway, so but the fact is, and this guy says, "quote Yeah, because from what I hear, his background staff don't like Manchester because it rains a lot." Huh? You know, they're the best best club in the country. For instance, they won 4 out of 4, probably getting paid very very well, but they don't like Manchester because it rains. You know, and that's the reason because his staff don't like Manchester. He was like, could you come up with a more, is that it? Is that it? You know, and for instance, and then when you look at the likes of Mark Ogden, for instance, swelling of his pride, I believe, Rodri, who won the Ballon d'Or, for instance, I think he deserved it. Yeah, you can see it through his gritted teeth. You know, when they talk about United, their eyes light up. Amarin signed. Wow, we've got the world's best, coach. The coach everybody wanted. We've got City's coach because City wanted Amarin. No, we didn't. We wanted his sporting director, Sporting Lisbon, not him. I think he was a bit too young. Was he part of the what's it called? The thing. What's it called? The group, etc. We were looking at. Sure, they were. But this is all speculation, for instance, because we don't know what's going on inside City. So, for instance, but to sit there and say that, for instance, City's got, Amarin's come to United, and the game on Tuesday is going to be his first, you know, uh, meeting. But for instance, yeah, and let's all the create that even a pest conference. We're talking about Bournemouth. No, let's bring in Amarin. What do you think of Amarin? What do you want to say to Amarin? You know, the worst thing about these easy to come up with, for instance, because we want to basically let's go ask Pep questions, but we've got to put it into these guys' hands to say, listen, could you say something which is like relevant to the football club, relevant to the team, relevant to whatever, to the who's fit, who's not fit, blah blah blah, and they come up with stupid little questions. Have you got anything to say to Emery or anything like that? Well, what's he got to do with Pep? God's sake, and but it's these stupid questions and this thing what the British media do is just they just make me so want to scream at them because of their for instance of their bitterness towards Manchester City. Again, for instance, what really sent me off yesterday and really wanted me to do this video was I was in my making dinner yesterday, for instance, and I was around about 6 o'clock and I was making my dinner at time. And for instance, I got my Alexa on top of my Douyin, my fridge and refrigerator, for instance. And there she, whatever, Alexa, play TalkSport. And I think to myself, wow, because I know White and Jones are going to be on. I know that, for instance. And I'll think, okay, I'll give it 5 minutes, whatever, and before I scream at it or throw something at the Alexa. That poor Alexa, she's going to get booted one day. I do apologise for it. She's only doing a job. I keep saying to me, if there was another 24-hour sports radio station I could listen to without the bias of this southern-based biased radio station, then I would do so. But there's nothing, unfortunately. You've got the BBC, for instance, but it's majority of it's only on the sports days like Saturday or Sunday or whatever in the sports time. For instance, which is really bad, really. So, and then you've only got the media on the TV, for instance, and you've either got Sky Sports you got to listen to. Anyway, so when I was listening to, for instance, it was Sam Matterface and Kurt. for instance, doing the show. Don't know where the other two were. Clowns. Can't stand them. They've had a living off of the Manchester City, especially Jordan, living off the Man City 115 thing, etc. They've really stuck the boot in. I hope Man City go and sue them afterwards. And why he's just, and that guy, a failed Sky Sports presenter. The only thing he was famous for is Deadline Day. And I was teamed up with Simon Jordan. Oh, Simon, are you lovely, Simon? Oh, you're amazing, Simon. Oh, do you look good, chap, Simon? And Jordan sat there, I was Gordon. Oh, you're so amazing. What are you saying, Simon? Oh, it just makes me want to farm it. And so anyway, so for instance, that's the reason why you've got this prize Sky Sports and talking absolute nonsense. So, for instance, so they had Sam Matterface on. Now, Sam Matterface, I used to kind of like. I didn't know really what he was preferences, what as far as football was concerned, but I had a feeling it was either Chelsea or Arsenal. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. But it's not important as long as he's middle of the road. When he's doing that, he's professional. For instance, and he's not being biased. The chief sports reporter, Cookie, who ate all the pies, for instance, he's a United fan. And he always seems to get assigned to United, for instance, as well. And, oh, hello, Eric. How you doing, Eric? And he's very nice physical with the United. And, oh, well, it's happened today, and blah, blah, blah. So biased, it's just ridiculous. Every time, you can always say he's a United fan, because United fans will always say this. We're the biggest club in the world. We're the biggest club in the world. Like that kind of thing. It's just so nonsense. You can actually always tell a United fan because they'll always come out with that puke. Anyway, so for instance, there he was, and of course, and I turned it on, and then just exactly as I turned it on, what they were talking about, Manchester City and the injuries we have this weekend against Bournemouth. And it's just like, can we really read about now? For instance, normally I would listen to Sam Matterface and listen, because he talks good, he talks a good game, etc. He does the presenting well. But when I watched a video clip of him celebrating when Manchester City's second goal went with John Stones in him and Perry Groves, and he was celebrating when it was ruled offside. Yeah, I knew, and so when the goal was given, what side of butter he was, he was on, and it was like, for instance, well, this is just typical you, for instance, and again, to me, I've worked it out to be about 10. I've worked out about 10 presenters. Noel Gallagher went on there, for instance, saying 10 producers who are United fans, but I think it's 10 presenters. I've worked it out. I think I've got a good, of all the presenters, regular presenters, and the people they invite on, etc. For instance, who are United fans, Southern based. If not, they're either Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool. Like for instance, what's his name? He goes with White and Jordan. Him is another bit of a bitter because he's Liverpool, so he's not going to give Man City any credit at all. So, what do we have? So there we have this guy, for instance, who comes along and says, talks about Manchester City, for instance, in this particular. Manchester City's injuries. Do you have any feelings? Do you have any kind of sympathy for Manchester City? No, with regards to what they've got, blah, 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 blah. They can put out two sides, la, 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 and blah, 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 blah. And then he went through, Sam Matterface, the squad we put out against Spurs, saying that, for instance, because he said Pep was going to put out a load of kids, and then he went through all the players who came on. What he forgot to say is that Jordan Wright came on, Poussey was on, for instance, McAtee came on. He forgot all the academy players. He only mentioned the first team players, and he said he already had Hurling on the bench. But he never mentioned Guardiola, how long he came off for. Oh, the fact that Gundogan went off and Foden went off at half time, and who was replaced by. He forgot to. Oh no! Forget, we didn't say anything. but only says this. So if you're listening and you haven't seen the game, the only person when you're sat there going, well, Man City complaining about what's when they can play their first team squad. He's making Pep Guardiola to be a liar because Pep Guardiola said he's going to play the EDS. Okay, to which he did play a good proportion of the EDS. He's not going to play to do the entire EDS because quite like for instance that devalues the competition. For instance, and I remember what's called and that Man City will not do that. For instance, so it needs to value the competition in that way. So it was really annoying listening to him. For instance, Matterface. For instance, we're talking with, and what is your opinion on this, Cookie? What do you think he's going to say? No, he's not going to. He's not. Not going to pat Manchester City on the back. He's not going to sit there and say, "Oh, okay." He's just basically just going to agree with everything Gary Dam says, and this just typifies talksport. For instance, I listen to, for instance, the guys who do the late night show. For instance, what was his name? He plays. He does the Jason Cundy and O'Hara. And there's a City fan coming on, saying, listening about our squad. Yeah, but you got two squads. It is absolute nonsense. And and when Pep Guardiola was asked in the text, saying, "Ooh, sounds that deep," was asked in the, for instance, in his press conference that people I don't. These over here are big. Yeah. Anyway, it is a bit different. Yeah. So, hello, mate. How are you doing? I don't know if you can see him. So I'm not afraid of bees and things like that. You don't, and you've got cockroaches here, the size of insects and stuff. What the hell you got in your hand? Okay, you just disappear for a minute, mate. You're kind of ruining mine. Yeah, just a bit. Anyway, I'm not scared of good books or anything like that, so, but it's just fascinating to see them huge. Anyway, but no, it's this constant chat or this disrespect towards my football club, and it's really annoying. And it's just, and we get it from Sky Sports, we get it from Talk Sport, Talk Garbage, and you'll have and I just think, why can't you just give us a break? Why can't you just show us a bit more things? Why do you think the 115? You don't know what the outcome of 115 is going to be. Nobody knows. Nobody knows the outcome of 115. Right? It is unprecedented. To come out and have this Holocaust and come out and say, oh, well, it's going to be, if Manchester City go get relegated, we could get this, we could get this, we could get this. Don't put the Manchester City point. Don't put what happened at the CAS. Don't talk about, for instance, it's FFP when it's nothing to do with FFP. This is about fraud in a colossal scale. For instance, and this is what we're having to put up with, the nonsense we're having to put up with. And for instance, they don't know. The problem is when I go to sit in a bar, and they say often enough, like my relevance in the beginning between Britain and Denmark, you sit there and you sit in a bar, for instance, and you sit a t-shirt on, you're watching a game, and you're, 115, oh, you're going to get relegated, oh, you're going to get done 100 points. Who says? The media. That's who says. And they say often enough, 111, 115, 115, 115, 100 points, relegated. And they believe it. Considering this is first of its kind ever happening, they're just speculating what could happen, the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario. For instance, if a meteorite was heading towards the Earth, which they do all the time, was to go cover the Earth, they would put it as a Kazmak, the whole place is going to blow up, blah, blah, blah. The reason why? Because he sells papers. He sells this. He sells clicks. Watching Manchester City get. So, of course, when Manchester City had the audacity to challenge the APT with the rules, it's totally a party transaction. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? Continue my answer. How dare you? It was supposed to be a private thing, and it was leaked by Arsenal to the Times. It was done supposed to be private, for instance, behind that Man City are doing it. Lead by Arsenal. You see what where they're to the Times. Manchester City and everybody thought, oh, we're going to get done for that as well. We'll lose that case, and then find out we've won it. Yeah, and then I listened to Lewis. I listened to Typical City. I was like Johnny and Martin and whatever, and all said Man City won the case. Then I listened to, for instance, from Sky Sports, and Carby there was in his suit and there's no, whatever. Also come along and says, well, Manchester City didn't win or whatever. It was, Premier League said, oh, they won 90% of it. Man City won a few little things and blah 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 blah, because they took the Premier League's point of view, not Man City's point of view. Premier League's of what's happening with the Premier League, really. Not Man City, Premier League. Because it's more important to listen to the Premier League. Okay, for instance. So, and it was just, yeah. And then now, do we have an APT as of today? No. Because according to the Sky Sports, it was supposed to be a few easy, quick, quick adjustments on the APT rules, and Manchester City just wanted a few bits and pieces. But now, for instance, Stefan Bolton said, no, you got to take care. We'll go back and say, listen, for instance, you got to go back to the drawing board. And then we're supposed to have this big meeting, and it was cancelled. Why was it cancelled? Because it was because they've got to go back to the drawing board and do the whole thing again. Or do the entire thing again. Why? There you go. So, for instance, and then it kept creeping out. The real truth kept coming out slowly, but slowly. That, for instance, and now there's a certain degree of, if City won the APT, could they win the 115? Okay, but again, are we getting the, for instance, but we've already been convicted. We've already been convicted, taken to the guillotine, and our head chopped off to the British media. Convicted, and it's a shame when you've got to constantly listen to the same old nonsense, sprouted out by the media, sprouted out, for instance, about constantly, and it's so annoying and so frustrating for me, as a City fan, that I would have to listen to this constantly, and it really does bother me 110%, and I just it just makes me so angry, for instance. It's just so disappointing that our golden era is being tarnished by what the media is coming out and saying constantly, and it's not fair. It really isn't. For instance, and just because their teams are not winning, their clubs are not winning, get better managers, get better players, spend a bit more money. The APT and all this new thing, etc. It's designed for billionaire owners, because Arsenal are billionaire owners. United have got billionaire owners. Liverpool got billionaire owners. And who did Liverpool get? For instance, for this guy's new era. Huh? How much did they spend? What did they get? What was Arsenal transfer window like? Garbage. What about Spurs? They were, I think Lewis and what's his name? Lewis and Hugh did a program, for instance, a blog, and on their blog they put on, for instance, how many, for instance, on the blog, what's it called? The 6 richest club, and I was absolutely blown away, and it turns out to be Spurs. For instance, so all the money Spurs have got, I thought it might be a bit of, because they've got to pay off the stadium and blah, blah, blah. All this money they've got, and they're always Spursy, because they'll never win anything. So the fans are being cheated. More extra season cards, extra payment on this, extra payment on that. But the way the media put it, the way the whole thing's packaged up, it just lies. Some people are beginning to wake up. Some people are looking at Manchester City as not the evils, or looking past the media crap. The West Hams, the Newcastles, Aston Villa, Notts Forest. Everton, maybe. Yeah. Okay. I'll come in back and say, maybe Man City are not the evil. Man City just said standing up to the bully. Okay, standing up to the Premier League is tantamount to that. And the problem with the Premier League is puking out all its, for instance, out to, to getting all its mates, its red cartel, and its media wing, and pew to you. You can't be this blind. You cannot be this blind to what the media is doing and saying. Man City deserve to where we are today, 110%. Okay, players have worked hard. We've got amazing, fantastic players who were not supposed to settle in Manchester because it's raining, because they won't like it. Sergio Aguero won't like Manchester because it's cold. Pep's not going to stay more than 3 years. He's not going to come to City. He's not going to stay more than 3 years because it's too cold. Okay. And then suddenly, for instance, he's been here for 9 years. Oh, he's leaving, because his backroom staff don't like Manchester. You sit here in shock. When you listen to it all the time. Anyway, guys, for instance, I'm going to get ready for the game. I'm going to get some dinner. The sun's going down. I've got a nice sunset. For instance, if you come to Thailand, etc., you'll have a very nice time. Stay safe. Don't be stupid. Don't do anything crazy. Wear a helmet if you're going to ride a motorbike. And just protect your health. Make sure you get health insurance. And for instance, you can definitely see a lot more flang foreigners hanging around, especially when I was doing running today, for instance. Enjoy. So enjoy the game today. I'm sorry I have to say these things because it just kind of gets on my chest so much. But anyway, guys, I'll speak to you soon. Man City, Bournemouth. Our 13 players. No more injuries, please. Please. No, I'm going to get one of my lady Buddha statues. I'm going to stick it on and put a City's half on it and say, yeah, got once. But anyway, guys, take care.